Application password management is becoming a common concern for enterprises globally. The dramatic increase in cyber attacks has put a lot more focus on the pathology of attackers, bots, and advanced persistent threats. Now, one aspect of this is their ability to trawl through scripts, application code, and configuration files on servers, looking for embedded credentials that can help them further their exploit and ultimately gain access to privileged accounts and then onto your sensitive data. It's absolutely critical then to include application password management as part of a comprehensive privileged identity management program. Let's take a look at an example of how an embedded password in a script file can be replaced with an API call to the Centrify privilege service as a means of mitigating such a risk. So Andras has been asked to create a batch file that will do a secure remote copy of a file from a remote system to the local system. So he needs to do that in such a way that it's secure. Here you can see in the local file system we have a batch file already. It's called tony.sh. I'm going to SSH over to the remote machine just to show the file that he intends to batch copy over on a regular basis. We'll enter the credentials here. We do a quick ls, you'll see it's a file called scp.data. Let's take a peek at that. It's just a simple text file for demonstration purposes. That's the file we're going to copy over. Let's exit from this SSH session and go back to the local machine. Let's take a look at the batch file that Andras has put together. Now here you'll see is the secure copy command, SCP. But instead of having the password specified on the command line, you'll see it's taking input from a variable called password. And that's set up a little earlier in this batch. There it is, using dzdo as an elevation command, and it's calling getAccount, which is an API call to the Centrify privilege service. And if allowed by this computer, then the password will be obtained. So let's run this. Press return to run the Centrify privilege service getAccount API call with elevated privileges. That obtains the remote password from the Centrify privilege service, if successful, if allowed to do so by role. So we hit return. And there we are. We've got the password. It's in that variable within the script file. So now we're going to hit return to issue the secure copy command. And if all of that was successful, we should have the file here on the disk. And there it is, scp.data. So this is an example of how we can improve our security by replacing hard-coded passwords in script files with a call to the Centrify privilege service API. Okay, so now let's take a look at how we configured our system to set this demo up. We basically have two machines in the demonstration, a source machine on which our script, tony.sh, ran, and a target machine that contained the data file, scp.data, to be copied to the source machine by the batch script. Now both machines have the Centrify Server Suite Direct Control Agent installed on them, and they're both joined to an AD domain controller. So for example, on the source machine, if I type adinfo, you'll see that we're joined to our centrify.vms domain in a connected state. They also have Perl installed. You can see my version here is 5.10.1. Since our direct control agent obtains passwords from the Centrify privilege service, we also have a running tenant and a cloud connector deployed on a Windows server that's also part of the same AD domain. Finally, on the source machine only, we've installed SSH Pass, which is only required for our specific demo. Because SCP, the secure copy, is an interactive copy tool, SSH Pass allows us to use it in a non-interactive mode, i.e. through a script file. Now, at a high level, we need to do two things. Number one, permit the source computer to check out the destination computer's account password. And two, we need to enable the script running as a specific user the ability to run the checkout command in an elevated mode as root. So for the first step, let's configure CPS to allow the source machine to check out a password for an account on the destination machine. On our domain controller, in AD users and computers, you see the centrify.vms domain. And in the computer's container, our source machine, ENGCEN6, and destination machine, new CentOS, are both listed, so they're visible to the privileged service. Now, in the Cloud Manager, let's navigate to the Roles tab. Here you see our role that we've called AAPM CPS Password Checkout. In the Members section, you'll see our source CentOS computer. So what right does this role provide its members? Well, in the Administrative Rights section, you see Privilege Management Limited selected. Let's switch over to the Privileged Service now and navigate to the Resources section. Here you'll see our two machines set up. If I click on the source machine, Monty CentOS, and then go to Accounts, we've created an account record allowing us to log in as Acme consultants. Now, if we go back and select the destination machine, new CentOS, you'll see under Accounts we have the batch SCP account that our demo script will use to log in and to do the secure copy. Now, an important configuration here is that we need to give our source machine permission to check out the batch SCP account password. So if I click on this account and navigate to permissions, you'll see our source machine, engcen6, listed with checkout permission. Our script will be using the Privilege Services cGetAccount API call to check out a password. That call is a privilege call, so we need to set it up in Centrify Direct Manage. So here, we only have a single zone, so within that we'll navigate to Authorization. Then we'll go into Unix rights definitions and finally to Commands. Here we've created a new Unix command called AAPM getAccount silent. If we open that up, you'll see the actual command that our script will run under privilege. It's essentially the cGetAccount command run in a silent mode. On the Run As tab, you'll see that we're going to run this as root. Now we have to assign that right to a role. So in the role definitions, you see we have a role called AAPM getAccount silent. You see the right assigned to this role. Finally, we need to assign this role to our user. So in the role assignments, I've highlighted the assignment of this role to the Acme Consultants user. So we're done. Okay, let's do a final confirmation to make sure that everything is set up. So logged into the source machine as Acme Consultants, let's confirm we have the necessary rights by issuing dzdo-l. Okay, you see the command second in the list, so that's good. Now let's SSH over to the target machine. Here you see the data file we'll be transferring over using the SCP command. Okay, let's exit this SSH shell and go back to the source machine, and let's just run the demo. And everything worked. The configuration is complete.